Hello guys, Joe with BitRage. So I want to talk to you guys about Bitcoin. But before I do that, I want to show you a Forex chart. This is Euro US dollar. We're looking at a monthly time frame. The reasoning behind this is we got a comment a while ago, I believe it was a week or so ago, where somebody said, why are you guys so negative? Why are you so bearish on the market? We're running up. Shouldn't you be bullish? To compound that, we get a lot of questions, a lot of comments asking where the bottom is for Bitcoin. And I think that's really the wrong way to look at the market. You're not understanding what the market is doing. So let me explain that. On this chart here, it's pretty clear what the trend is. It's pretty clear. It's undisputed. Anybody could look at this chart and tell you the trend. It's a downtrend, right? And so as we're looking at this chart, every time it runs up, we're looking to sell. Especially if we approach this structure in a corrective way, in a pattern. We're definitely looking to sell. So this is how the market moves. We get this impulsive run up, get this super impulsive run down, more of a corrective move up, which is easier to see on the lower time frames, a impulsive move down, more of a corrective move up again, a corrective move down, a corrective move up, get this big impulse down, a sideways movement for a bit, and then we develop this pattern here, which ultimately is a sell pattern, and it played out really nicely. So that's how the market moves. You'll get a greater structure, you'll get a trend. Inside of that trend, you'll get impulses, you'll get corrections, you'll get moves up, you'll get moves down, you'll get moves sideways. But if you understand the greater trend, then you know what you're looking for. Every time price approaches these levels, you're just looking to sell it, unless the market gives you other information. You're just looking to sell. If you understand that, it takes a lot of the mystery out of trading. So this is what I mean by it's really hard to look at cryptocurrency on a monthly chart. I mean, just look at that. There's not much there, and there's not a whole lot of information for Bitcoin at this point. We only have a few years, back to 2013, a little before 2013. It's not that much information. If you move down to a weekly chart, it makes a little bit more sense, right? So we can kind of determine structure here and the trend from the weekly chart, and it's pretty clear this entire run up was one big impulse. It was one big ridiculous move up. And we know that some of that's manipulation, we know some of that's hype, we know it doesn't really matter. All it matters is that's a serious impulsive move up. And so at the top, we can expect the market to do something drastic after such an overextended run. And it does. And we get this. And so if you jump down to a daily chart, if you look at the daily chart, tell me what direction the market is moving. It's pretty clear. It's not like it's a big mystery. Anybody can agree the market is moving down, right? We're starting to create lower highs. That's a downtrend. And so the reason why we don't classify on this channel every move up as this super bullish run to all-time highs is because it's just not the case. Now, it is important to note that we've talked about manipulation here on this channel. And that is the case. That's prevalent. It's undoubtedly happening. But on the other hand, we're starting to see Bitcoin respond very well to structure and very well to patterns. Because not every single candle on this chart is manipulation. You can see some examples of it, but not every single candle is manipulation. And so the market is still moving and becoming more natural, barring any sort of catastrophe. So let's jump down here to a 4-hour chart. I want to show you this run up. So we saw this move up, right? If you look at this, it's a big corrective move. So we understand the greater structure. The greater structure is telling us the market is in a downtrend. And just based on how this is moving, we can say that this is one big corrective cycle. It's one big channel that we're ultimately going to break out of and move down lower. How it approaches structure, how price approaches structure is important. So if we look at how price approached here, we got this nice reversal pattern. It's very clear. So if we came up to this structure, this trend line, and we did it with strength, and we've got big power behind the move. If that is the case, then we're not looking to sell so quickly. Maybe we're moving a bit higher. Maybe we're creating new structure, and so we're waiting for the market to develop something different. But this gave us a clear reversal pattern. It was very clear. And then we broke out of it, moved down, broke out of this corrective channel, and that gave us the signal that this is going to continue lower. And what was really important about this is we broke through, and then we started doing this. That's a really good sell pattern. If you break through a structure like this, and then you consolidate, make a pattern moving higher, make an ascending pattern, the break is when you want to sell that. So just looking at this and looking at the pattern we're in right now, we came from this clear reversal pattern at structure, fell off, gave us a few continuation patterns, and now we had this bigger pattern. It's ultimately a continuation pattern to move lower. So natural progression for this market is for price to move back to this low, back to structure. Unless the market produces a completely different pattern than we're seeing now, unless we have different information, natural progression would be to move lower. So we broke out of this pattern here and came up to retest and fell off. That looks really good. It's not the cleanest thing in the world, but it looks really good. So we're expecting price to continue lower, and that's where I'm expecting to see price head. I'm not looking to buy at this point. I'm looking to wait till we get back to structure here. Once we get back to this structure, I'm going to be interested to see how price interacts with it. If we develop a channel, something more like this, and maybe it turns into a wedge, maybe it's just a descending channel, I'm definitely going to be interested in that. And I'm going to be waiting for it to break above, and I'm going to be looking to buy. But if we approach this structure here with power and strength and a big impulse behind it, something more like this, then I may not be so quick to make a buy. Then I'm going to wait, and I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to see how it interacts. Or something more like this, right? Anything like that, we're going to wait and see what happens. Because when you get power behind any sort of move, it becomes a lot easier in the probability of breaking a structure, breaking a trend line is much higher. And so in the case of Bitcoin, natural progression is to simply move a bit lower, and we're looking down here at the structure for a target. Typically when you get a corrective pattern like this and you get a break of it, you'll see price correct all the way back down to the bottom of the channel. Doesn't always happen, but it's a good guide to go off of. Unless the market gives us more information, different information, whatever, we're going to be looking at this. I'm simply looking for price to move a bit lower, and we'll see what happens once we get to this structure. If this doesn't hold, then the market is going to move lower. It's going to create new structure for us to deal with and give us new information. But at this point, that's what I'm watching for. I'm waiting for price to move back, and we'll see what happens, see if it sets up for a buy. But it's really exciting to see this on cryptocurrency charts, where you have structure that is playing out. You have patterns that are playing out and that are working well. And I'm looking at this, I'm looking at how it develops, and I'm putting together some data for myself, and ultimately I'll probably release that to you guys. the probability of these patterns, of these structures working out. So it's really exciting for me to see this develop and progress and give us more consistent patterns, more consistent structures that we can trade that make sense. And as the market develops and goes further and we get more and more information, it's just going to get better and better from here. And trading is going to become more consistent and easier, barring any sort of catastrophe. And we do have some things that are in the market that need to be dealt with, and we've talked about them here on this channel. But leaving all that aside, just how the market is behaving is really good. I really like it, and we'll continue to do videos showcasing that as it develops, giving you guys a good idea of what's going on in the market. So that's Bitcoin, and I hope that kind of clears things up for you so you understand the cycle Bitcoin is in right now, and it gives you a better idea of where you can expect price to head and points to watch out for. That's going to do it for the video. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have a question, leave a comment. We'd love to answer your questions. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care now.